Hey guys, I'm at the old Phoenix Mountain Preserve today, and I'm out here looking for a mineral known as phyllite. I use it in my pottery as a temper, and I've had quite a bit of success with it. So I figured it might be interesting to show you guys where I hunt for this stuff and how I go about processing it. As you can see right behind me, there's an old abandoned mine that's been completely sealed off. They used to mine out old mercury in this area. Quite a bit of crazy stories in this rich historical area. Alright, let's get to it and see what we can find out there. It's a really great, nice, warm, sunny day here in Arizona. Wow, how cool! A family of javelina passing through. Quite a number of little ones in this pack. Well, it didn't take me long to find an interesting rock at all. I found this piece of some mica schist out here. Isn't that beautiful? It really shines when the sun is directly on it. It'll just sparkle like glitter. This is some really good stuff to use as a temper in your pottery too. Except for it can be a bit of a pain to process. It's really hard. I think I'll take this piece anyway. It's really nice. This is pretty common all over this area though. Well, it's that time of the year again. Saguaro's in bloom. Sadly, none of these were in full bloom here today. Alright, so this is the mine. It's a really old mine. I believe it used to be a native mine a long time ago. The natives had used this phyllite too in their pottery. That's where I learned that it makes really good temper. And then they got phyllite just scattered all over here. There's a nice vein that runs through here. Large amounts of it. Only need to take what I need to use. Probably not quite the mine you were expecting it to be. It's a real shallow pit, if anything, but it provides what I need. Oh, this is a beautiful piece. Well, that certainly was one enjoyable hike. What a great day. And I found what I came here to look for, some good old phyllite. So all I gotta do now is head back to my workshop and show you guys how to process this stuff. Alright, so I'm back in my studio. I've got here my phyllite that I just got done collecting, and I'm ready to get this process started. It's real quite simple. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to reduce it into almost a dust-like form. It's going to be real small gravel that I'm going to use again as a temper in my pottery. So this is some really easy stuff to do. All you need is a good size hammer to crunch that stuff up, some safety goggles because stuff likes to go flying everywhere, and a nice flat surface so you can sweep everything that may have flown off back into a nice pile so you can continue working on it. This process does require a little bit of time, but I like the results in the end. So let's get started. Here I've got my really neat phyllite that I've collected, a couple pieces. Nothing too crazy. Probably should have cleaned some of this stuff up, but again, it's just going to get turned into a nice powdery form almost that I can use. So this is a really nice example. You can see how the phyllite actually formed in a bunch of different layers. It makes dismantling it really easy. You can almost take your finger and just pop some off so you can see how brittle it is. It's really easy to work with this particular phyllite. Not really hard where you need almost a jackhammer to break these things open. So that's one of the main reasons I really love this certain location that I showed you guys. It's really easy to work with this particular type of phyllite. Alright, so let's get started. So I think I'll start with this piece here just to show you. And I like to start with taking little chips off the corners. It just makes it a lot easier. So you can see how easy that just broke right up into little tiny small bits. Really super easy. Not too noisy either, which is always a bonus. Got a bunch of beautiful little flakes right here. So after I spent some good time breaking these pieces down into this size of flakes, I'm going to wind up with a pile that resembles this right here. Now this is where the real fun begins, because there's quite a lot of bit of work to do to break these down into a smaller pile. So what I'll do is, again, I just continue to hammer it out. And this definitely helps to work on something, a really solid surface like some granite or hardwood. This table isn't really the best to work on this, so I would actually go outside and hit these rocks into smaller, finer parts. But it does take a little bit of time to reduce these pieces. So the thinner the piece is, the easier it is to break down. And you can see this is about the size that I need right here, starting to happen. Some really good looking pieces right there. So after a good amount of time, you're going to wind up with your Phyllite looking exactly like this. This is just what you're looking for. This is great. A nice, finely ground, but not powder, but you can see the size of the grains here. It's almost like just a little bit bigger than sand, yet a little bit smaller than sand. So it's kind of in between that happy medium there. What I do to prevent the big rocks from going through, so remember I had this earlier, this is my earlier step, and I've got these pieces right here that I really like. I take a piece of this screen mesh, or any type of strainer. I use this particular type of window screen, works really good. And what I'll do is I'll just dump this right onto this screen. Usually I have it in a bigger box so it makes it easier, but for this demonstration purpose, then I'll just kind of sift it around, let all the pieces that I want drop right through. Boom, there we go. So I've added that Phyllite right into my usable workspace right here. And it's all ready for use on my next clay project. So what I'll do now with this is I'll either put it in one of my containers and store it for when I'm ready to use it, or I'll add it directly into my clay, depending on what project I'm working on. So let me show you real quickly how I do that, and we'll be all done. Alright, so what I got here is a little piece of clay that I'm going to use for this demonstration, and it's really quite simple. Gonna just add a little bit of Phyllite to it, press it in, and then mix it in. And you want to make sure that's really well mixed in. This piece of clay that I'm using right now, I left it sitting on the table a little too long, so it's already getting pretty hard. Normally it's a lot easier to mix in without using so much strength to really mix this clay up. But I've had a lot of really good success with Phyllite. I used to use sand when I first started learning this, and I'd always get kind of issues with the sand where I'd get these little pop marks when it got too hot in the fire. And I have never had that problem with Phyllite. And there you go. Really easy, really simple to do. You have left, just dump into your container. ready for storage. And then it's time to start processing the rest of this stuff for me. I've got quite a bit to go. But it's not too difficult. This right here is a piece of pottery I'm working on, or was working on. It's actually in the drying stage. You can kind of see a little bit of sparkles around the rim. That's the actual Phyllite that I used in my clay. And again, it makes a really excellent temper. Holds the clay together when it's drying. And never really had any breakage either using it during the firing process. Or at least no cracks, I should say. Real nice. Alright guys, well there you have it. How I go about prospecting for my Phyllite, processing it, and making it into a usable work for my clay. If you really enjoyed this or learned something from it, please be sure to consider hitting that subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. And if you like this, well, be sure to hit that like button. Alright guys, till next time.